Yep, so this afternoon, we're about to learn about OpenRoads Designer, which is a comprehensive and fully functional detailed design application for surveying, drainage, subsurface utilities, and roadway design that supersedes all capabilities previously delivered through the legacy products of such roads, GEOPAK, MX, and PowerCivil. So, yep, to introduce our sharer this afternoon. So, Sir Fernando Mabini, representing Bentley, has over 20 years experience in civil and structural detailing in building and infrastructure projects, including BIM modeling, coordination, and management. So he joined the architecture, engineering, construction industry, AEC, in the Philippines since 2002, where he was exposed into various experiences in local and international projects. So, yep, in 2019, he joined Bentley Systems to help bridge the gap between building and civil BIM workflows. So, yep, like me, Sir Fernando is a strong advocate on the BIM's best practices and standard processes. So, yep, let me add in Sir Fernando.
Yeah,
Hello.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Hello, everyone. For those who are joining virtually, uh, thank you, Sir Jomar. Thank you for having me.
Yep. We're
Yeah,
actually live in Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, and ayan, Facebook. So for those who are not familiar with Sir Fernando, he's also a Filipino, right?
correct, sir. So
Oo.
I'm a native in I'm a native of Samar in the
Oo.
Philippines.
And right now, where are you currently located? Are you in Samar or somewhere else?
Um, I'm based in Singapore po, and yeah, so I was hired by a local company on 20 or 2008, and since then I'm already based in Singapore. Yep.
Ayan. So again, to our viewers coming from LinkedIn, we have actually a raffle draw. The price is a LinkedIn Business Premium subscription. So inviting everyone to comment down hashtag Bentley. Bentley, parang wrong spelling yun na. Bent, Bentley.
Yeah.
Yeah, to our friends who are tuning in from LinkedIn o sample o like Miss Nelsie o Bentley, Marlene Sally. Ayan. Sir Rohit Paliwar. Thank you for joining us. Ayushman Dubi. Ayan. Worldwide tayo nga, sir. Tama nga. Ayan. So once more, yep, join our raffle draw po. It's simple. Head down to YouTube, comment down, hashtag Bentley. Ayan. So after Sir Fernando's sharing, of course, we are encouraging everyone to ask questions. Ayan, wag mahiya for you to learn more. Yep. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand you over to the careful hands of Sir Fernando. You may now share your screen.
Thank you,
Ayan.
sir
So yep.
Jomar. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. Let me see.
Ayan. So yep. Giving the floor to you, Sir Fernando. Adding in your screen. Take it
Yeah,
away.
there you go. All right. Thank you, Sir Mark. And yeah, good afternoon, good morning, and good day to everyone. And again, thank you, Sir Mark, for having us on behalf of Bentley Systems. So basically, today I'm going to focus, even though I'm going to focus on the Philippines data set, but let me start by introducing the civil design solution for roads and lands development in Bentley Systems. Okay, so again, my name is Fernando Mabini Jr. I came from the Philippines, and I'm based in Singapore at this moment. As Sergio Mark mentioned, 2019 I joined Bentley Systems, and since then I was with a civil team, and as well as the solutions engineering team. Okay, so yeah, so let me um, start by presenting our solutions for infrastructure project delivery and asset performance. Basically, some of you here might have already heard or known, even worked with Bentley solutions before. So for those who have yet to engage with Bentley, we provide solutions for project delivery and asset performance across a wide range of different types of asset classes. Okay, so such the example of that are roads, rails, bridge, substation, power plants, water treatment facilities, and we have been in the industry, or we have been an industry leader for a lot different of infrastructure types. Okay, but in civil, we stay focused on the transportation. We have a solution for these numerous industries, but today our focus will be more on civil works in general, specifically for Philippines data set. So in a gist, basically anything that involves in moving and moving people and goods around the world, Bentley has a specific solution for such. But let's start with a little bit of history of BIM, especially in civil BIM. Okay, so 30 years ago, our industry was living through the digital transformation of CAD, which was taking what we are doing on paper and moving that to the computer. And then there is a next disruption, which is basically from drafting to sorry for from CAD to BIM, or building information modeling. So now at this moment, our industry is advancing beyond that. Okay, we are basically moving from BIM. And for the last couple of years, we at Bentley Systems have been working hard at adding the missing dimensions, such as the dimension of time and the dimension of context. Okay, so let me dive into our purpose for today. Okay, so our topic for today is about OpenRoads Designer, Philippines standard. So what's inside this standard? What is this standard? So basically, the Philippines data set is actually composed of different types of engineering principle. So I take here what consists of the Philippine standard is the CAD standards, and we have a road standard details, and then we have the design guideline criteria and standards, or we call it in engineering as DGCS, or green book or blue book, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so let's take a look at the CAD standards, right? So what is the CAD standards in Philippine data set? So that means we have CAD levels, or in Autodesk they call it layers. Okay, we have color tables, right? So we are going to standardize this. This is basically on the blessing of the DPWH. Okay, so the Philippine Geo Coordinate System, this is very, very important because we are working with a civil project. So Geo Coordinate System is very important. We have 5 zones in the Philippines, and 4 of them is actually are the one that's being used. Okay, that means the zone number 1, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, zone number 2 is basically we don't use them. It's in the Philippine Sea. Okay, so we have already also line styles, lane markings, guardrails, road median, and barriers. Okay, so we have as well civil libraries, so road signages or cell libraries. That includes road signages, traffic lane markings, parapet walls, and monuments. Okay, so the next is annotations. We have text favorite, we have text styles, and we have dimension styles, civil labeler, and annotation group. Okay, what are those? So basically, this CAD standard falls into our deliverables. Okay, what are those deliverables? The drawings. Okay, um, during the project, even though we are in a 3D modeling era now, the 2D drawings will not going or will not go away. Maybe for the next 10 years or so. Okay, it still be useful. That's why we still have CAD standards. All right. So, what are those? So, in the drawing annotation, in the drawing on the plan view, we call it annotation groups. Okay. So we consolidate all those CAD standard and put it into annotation group, and we apply them into every element that you see here in the alignment annotations. So even in those, if you can see here, those contour lines that also have those CAD standards. Okay, right? So even the north symbol right there is part of the CAD standard as a cell. Right? For the long section profile, the CAD standard of the annotation group is also defined. For the cross section annotations group are also defined. Okay, so now let's take a look on the roadway standard details. So what are those roadway standard details? So basically, those roadway standard details are composed of pavements, the road curves, the slope protection. You have the guardrails. You have the signages, pavement markings, the monuments, as mentioned earlier on, the traffic regulatory or prohibitory signages, the warning signages, traffic information signages, and chevron signages. So those are the roadway standard details. And how about the DGCS? Okay, the engineering principle of the design. So those are with connection with the horizontal and vertical alignment. Okay, so the horizontal and vertical alignment, we apply a design speed into it, we apply a super elevation into it or road widening, so that when we create that in a model, we can be able to determine the speed requirements of your road alignment. All right, so now what I'm going to show you is we're going to dive into a little bit of technical or technicalities. Okay, so we're going to create our project, and I'm going to show you the workflow of the project. So let me see here. What is the workflow of the project? Let me show you some slide. Okay, so there you go. So the advantage that OpenRoads has lies is the continuity of the workflow it has from the preliminary to the detailed design stage up to the project delivery. And this is regardless of the data deliverables your project may require. Okay, so that means we are going to start with collecting all the data, all right, be it the reality model, the point cloud, or the TopoCAD files. We are going to collect them. It is very, very necessary because we are basically creating a digital model. So after that, we are going to convert them into a digital terrain model. Okay, over here, we're going to create a digital terrain model, And if there is a geotechnical data, those bore logs information or boreholes, we can be able to use our GINT civil tools in OpenRoads to create them into or convert them into a 3D models. Okay, so after that, we are going to create your site model or your road corridor. Okay, and then we're going to if there are drainages that needs to be created, we are going to create them, drainage and sewer lines or utilities, and then drawing production for your deliverables or design review platform. Okay, and then lastly, if you need to visualize your project, you're going to use our Luminarty application software. All right, so let's dive into a little bit of technical workflow. Okay, so over here, um, let me see. Okay, all right. So I mentioned about the Philippine data set. So let me just go back to the backstage right here. Okay, terrain model 002. Let me just go back to the backstage. So what you see here is basically our Open Roads interface, and let me close this file first. Okay, so you can see that the workspace over here is showing you Philippine standards. Okay, and then the work set right here, I'm using a specific zone in the Philippines, basically in zone number 5. Okay, so over here, the work set is the project specific, and over here, the workspace is basically the regional data or regional standard specific. Okay, so you can see here in the list that I have Singapore standard, I have New Zealand standard, I have Australian standard right there. Okay, and so on and so forth. I have Victoria Roads standards. So and so on. Okay, so those are the repository of the regional standard or the country standards. Right. So when you need them, or if you have the project according to that region, you will just use this workspace right here to look for that standard, or your project that you're going to do will automatically get all those standards into that regional standard data set. Okay, so let me just open up the file that I'm working on. So I'm going to create a terrain model right here. Okay, let me just wait for that to be opened. Apologies. So it's gonna open in a while. All right, there you go. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a terrain model based in Philippine standard. So when you create a file like this, all right, so when you create a file like this, you intend to create either your linear infrastructure model or your terrain model. You used a Philippine standard, and then you used a specific seed file for that zone in the Philippines. What you can get is when you open up the utilities tab and then take a look at the geo coordinate system. Okay, you will see that it is in the Philippines zone. Okay, zone number 5. Okay, so I intend to create a project in this part of the Philippines. All right, so I'm going to close this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the reference dialog box, and I'm going to attach a file, a CAD topo file. So a, for me to be able to create a digital terrain model. So what we have right now is a CAD topo. Okay, so you can see here, you have those numbers, you have the Kogu points right there, or topo points. And if you go and rotate the file, you can see that it is basically not really that perfect. Okay, but what we actually need is only those points right there. Okay, we need those points to be able for us to create our um, our terrain model. So we don't need all those things right there in the bottom. So what we need is basically we need to confirm if this points right here is number one 3D. Okay, it has X Y Z value. Okay, so like so, you can see right here, it has an XYZ value. That means uh, you have the elevation, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn off some elements that I don't need for me to be to create a um, a terrain model. Okay, so I'm going to turn off some displays, okay, such as this. So we don't need some elements right there in the bottom. So there you go. So I don't need maybe these fonts right there. So what I need is only the survey points and those break lines that represents the existing roadway. Okay, so I'm going to select them all, and then I'm going to use the terrain tools using the from the elements, create a terrain from the elements that I have been selected. Okay, so I'm going to use the Philippine existing contour. The feature type, I'm gonna go for a break line. Let's say for um, let's name this existing terrain. Okay, so and then left click to accept that, so that it will create a terrain. So wait for that to be processed. It's not going to take a lot of time, maybe less than a minute. It will create you a terrain model. All right, so there you go. So now let me just turn off my reference dialog box. And then so you have your terrain already. So if you can see here, if you take a look right here, I'm gonna go and let me just uh, change the property, maybe open up the triangulations and change the display. I'm gonna change the display into a shaded. All right. So my terrain is going to be looks like that. So if you want to edit the terrain, remove all those triangulations that is not necessary. If you can see here, there are unnecessary triangulation that on the edges or on the boundary of your terrain. You can use edit model tool and then select the terrain and then delete all those triangles that you don't need. Okay, so there you go. Right, so that's the first thing that you are going to do. Right, so now after cleaning up your terrain, that is basically ready for your alignment creation or your road project creation. So you notice that uh, there's a road access right there, an old road maybe. Okay, there's a parent road, so we can be able to trace them and then create a new road for that using the break line that we selected earlier on. Okay, so let's go over here and speed up. Basically, I'm going to use those points right there for me to be able to create an alignment. So let me just turn off maybe 1:100, maybe 250 right there. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to use those points right there to create my alignment. So you can see right here that I can use a feature definition, an alignment that specifically for Philippine um, Philippine standard. So that means this feature definition will hold all those CAD standards, and it can be applied a Philippine what you call this one, a Philippine standard design. Okay, so if you chose that and um, let it be activated, you can see here that I have the tool called Design Standard Toolbar. Okay, so from here, let's say that the road is basically um, under the 6% of super elevation. So you can choose this, let's say 4% super elevation. You can also choose the speed requirements of the road. Okay, so maybe let's not use that for a moment. Okay, let's take a look and let's create an alignment using all those setting out points that we have. Okay, so let's say, for example, this is Maharlika Highway. Okay, so let's say that is Maharlika Highway. My radius at this moment is 65, but I can change that later on. Okay, so I'm going to uh, pinpoint those setting out points right there. So I'm going to change this according to the requirements. It says 50 meters radius. So I'm going to type in that. So like so. So there, this one here is 50 meters radius as well. Okay. So this one is 40 meters. So I will just go and carry on through. This is 30 meters, right? That is 30 meters as well. 30 meters as well. So 45 meters. So I'm gonna just type it in. Okay, so I will just carry on following those parameters. Okay, so 30 meters. Over here is 35 meters. And this one is 80, 120. Okay, so maybe we'll stop here. All right, so there you go. Now a I have now let me see here, maybe 25, put it back to 30. So sometimes you stumble upon those kind of things. Okay, so now I have an alignment right there. So what I can do with this alignment, I will, so remember that this is a 2D environment. You'll see here, I'm in a 2D environment in Bentley Solutions, Civil Solutions. You are going to work on the 2D environment. So I understand that this is a 3D modeling, but this is a little bit, this platform is different. Okay, based on an engineering principle, we are working on the 2D environment. So after that, I can be able to open up the reference, the profile, and then you can see that I can be able to create a vertical profile right there. I can exaggerate the vertical scale. Okay, so most of the time we are going to exaggerate that vertical scale on the from basically the view attributes. Maybe on the level of on the scale of 10 or so. Okay, so over here we have the vertical tools. We use that. We have a different tools for horizontal on the plan view, and then vertical tools on the profile view. Okay, that is very important. And then over here, I'm going to use the profile complex by PI. I'm going to maybe just arbitrarily create an alignment. Okay, So like so. Okay, so there you go. Maybe just following through the profile that I have already. Okay, so there you go. So now I have the vertical alignment. Now watch, you take a look right here. The moment I activate this alignment, it's gonna create a vertical profile or a 3D model over here. Okay, you can see that 3D model of that alignment. So that is the only way that you can be able to see it in your 3D preview. Okay, now you can use, so you can see that all of this element right here are composed uh, of a Philippine standard or a Philippine CAD standard. So when you use this PH road geometry center line, so this is the color, the line weights, and the line style of the Philippine CAD standards for road alignment. Okay, so over here, I can be able to place an annotation on that alignment. Okay, there you go. You can see all those annotations right there. Also based in Philippine standards. So let me just turn off those uh, dark fields. All right, it's the equivalent software of Autodesk for Autodesk is Civil 3D. That is correct. Okay, so before DPWH was using Civil 3D, but they shifted out to much logical software such as OpenRoads or Bentley platform. Okay, so right, so you might need to take note of that. All right, so now I can use this alignment already because I have already the vertical profile. I can use I can create a corridor out of that. All right, so you can see here I have the templates, but because a I cannot be able to create a corridor without the template. So you can see that I have multiple templates right here. That's basically based in DPWH projects. Okay, you can see here I have the ACP road embankment with berm. Okay, so if you take a look right here, I have, let me see here on the embankment with berm. Okay, because this is the most common. Right, so I'm going to test, or I'm going to take a look at the behavior of this template. Right, so I'm going to click on test. So that means I can only see the pavement. Now, when the level of the road, or sorry, the level of the terrain hits any of this element right here, the berm and the embankment right here, you can take a look what is going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to draw the level of the terrain. You can see right there. Okay, so that is the level, the representation of the terrain model, that white horizontal line. Now when it hits below the grade line, so it's creating a berm. So you can see here, even if I change basically the, the 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 gradient of the, or the degree of the angle of this representation of the terrain model, you can see how it's going to happen. Let me see here, maybe 10 degrees. Okay, so let me draw that. All right, so you can see right there. So the other one right there is creating a cut grading, and then the other one here is creating a fill grading. Right? Okay, so like that. So that is the behavior um, of the template. Okay, so let me use this two-lane ACP or concrete asphalt concrete pavement road embankment with berm. Okay, use this one as well if you want. So let's take a look first. Maybe let's take a look at the behavior of this. Right, so there you go. Okay, so the other one is benching, embankment with benching, and then the other one right there is berm. And then when it hits the grading right there, it creates an embankment cut section, right? So those are the example of the behavior when you're using Bentley or OpenRoads application. So all of this in the list of the template library is based in Philippine dataset. Okay, so let's use this two-lane ACP or asphalt concrete pavement road embankment with berm, right? So I'm gonna close that and I'm gonna use this U corridor tool right there. I'm gonna select this alignment, okay? So I'm gonna name this Maharlika Highway. I'm gonna left click to accept that naming convention. Okay, and then I'm going to look for my Philippine dataset um, library. As I mentioned, I'm going to use this two-lane ACP road embankment with berm. Let me see here, this one. Okay, I think this one is much better. Okay, let's use this. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to lock to the start, left click to accept that, and I'm going to lock to the end, accept. Okay, drop interval is 3. So take a look right here in the 3D, in the 3D preview, what is going to happen. All right, so there you go. So it created me a road project immediately with a berm and on the side with a cut grading with a benching. Okay, so right there I have those berms. Okay, and the road is the asphalt concrete pavement based in or based on the Philippine data set. All right, so there you go. That is how you can be able to create your road project. Okay, so over here at the 2D model, it's also created. So keep in mind that there are two views here, the 2D and 3D views. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, we are working on the 2D environment. So notice that I work on the 2D environment, both horizontal and vertical, and it created me a 3D model. Okay, so that is how it's basically it works here. So now, all right, so what we have, if you take a look, let's go back right here in the geometry tab. What we have is basically we have as I mentioned earlier on, I can be able to create a I can be able to create, let me see here, um, maybe in this area right here I will create a parapet walls. If you are familiar with traveling along the Maharlika Highway, you can see all those parapet walls. So I can create or I can choose those parapet walls over here. Okay. So maybe this 1.5 by 50 by 50 by 50 3D parapet wall. Okay. So I'm going to use that and I'm going to use the placement mode along. Okay, so I'm going to use this area right here, start method, stop, and then the spacing is interval. Okay, so maybe I will go to the drawing production, and there you go. Okay, so interval, maybe this one here is 1.5. That's gonna be, um, hold on, I'm looking at the uh, maybe 2 meters. Let's see here, 2 meters of interval. I'm gonna start right there. Okay, so you can see that parapet walls right there. Okay, that is creating. So I'm going to place it maybe until this point. Okay, right. Offset is basically um, let's say 0. That- And then elevation plan is this area right here. elevation offset, just 0. Okay. And then reference point right there is rotation is basically 0. All right. So there you go. So over here in the 3D view, if you take a look right there, oops, let me see, let me take a look right there on the rotation value. Okay. Sorry, in the elevation value. Right. So there you go. So it seems like my elevation is a little bit offset value. That's maybe point 0.6 offset. Elevation node, plan element. Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's gonna be point 0.5. Okay, point 0.5. All right, so there you go. So now you have your parapet, and then you have your 2D parapet, and then you have your 3D parapet. So basically, it's very easy to create your parapet wall. So let's say, for example, I'm gonna create my um, I'm going to create my vehicular guardrail. So vehicular guardrail, I can use this offset and tapers. Okay, single offset partial. So I'm going to use the align under the linear over here, and then under the guardrail and barrier, I can be able to select the left side guardrail single. Okay, so there you go. I can use all those lines right here that is available. So let's say, for example, this line. Okay, so you can see that I'm creating a guardrail right there, maybe on the offset value of 0 from that line. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna start right there, all the way to the just touching the parapet walls. Okay, so there you go. So you can see basically how those parapet walls has been created. All right. So how about if we place some signages? Okay, so we use again the point feature definition. So let's say, for example, I'm going to select a, a signage here, chevron sign, but maybe just a warning sign over here. I'm not sure what is this, the W1-1L. I forgot already. Okay, so I'm going to use this line right here for the road, just arbitrarily. I'm going to place these signages here, okay, facing that area right there. So let's take a look. What is that? Right, so there you go. Okay, all right. So let's do it again. Okay, maybe another one. This one. Okay, yep. So there you go. You have the 2D and then you have the 3D symbology. So that is how OpenRoads is basically operating. Okay, like for example, the over here the vehicular guardrail. All right, so you have a different symbology on the 2D view for the drawing representation, and you have the different symbology on the 3D view. All right. Okay, so how about if we place or if we create a lane marking? So we use this lane marking right here, the PH pavement markings. So maybe this 10 10 centimeter solid or the 15 centimeter solid. Okay, so basically we maybe we use this over here, and let's take a look right there in the middle of the road. Position our camera view so we can be able to see it. All right, so there you go. So maybe we start right there, just for example. Okay, so there you go. I can be able to create immediately our lane marking. So let's do it again. Maybe the yellow one, 150 yellow, pavement marking, 150 yellow. So maybe on this 3.5 value, or maybe um, 1.5 only for us to just see it. Okay. All right. So there you go. Okay, this is how basically easy to model highways such as Maharlika Highway in OpenRoads model, right? So after this, you have already placed your road markings. You have already placed um, your parapet walls. So all you need to do is basically to compose them all together. So I have this data right here to compose them all together. So you can see here I have a little bit of bridge. I have embankment of the or the the wall of the bridge right there, or end wall and approach wall, and then I have those parapets wall right there. I have clipped out the portion of this terrain model. Okay, so this is an example of the finished product. So I have all those uh, junctions or interchanges right there created as well. So all you need to do after that is go to the workflow right here, change the workflow to reality, sorry, to visualization. Okay, hold on, to change the workflow to visualization. So and after that, basically, hold on, visualization. Let me change that to visualization. And over here, we have the um, uh, what we call our rendering tools, or a visualization tool called Luminarty. So you click on that, and then it will let you process. It will process the model. So what it looks like after processing the model is looks like this. Okay. So right here, you can be able to see an example of basically um, uh, a um, ready to render model. Okay, so from here, I have already placed the grassland of those terrain and those embankment right there. You can change the or change or adjust the uh, quality of the render. And then you can see here that I can be able to um, change the environment. Over here, the weather, the blue sky, I can create the blue sky. I can change the time. Okay. So basically, this platform here will help you model your um, or will help you render your model better. Okay, so maybe I will place some trees right there. So just give me a time. This will not take a lot of time. Okay, so over here I can be able to place a vegetation. That easy. Okay, so there you go. I can increase the size of my brush so that I can be able to easily place those vegetations right there. Okay, like so. Right. So let me just put on some more. Okay, so after that, maybe I can put on some more over here, on some more right there. Okay, so after that, basically you can place some vehicles. Okay, if you want, you can create a moving traffic. Okay, populate along spine or populate inside an area. So most of the time I'm using this populate along spine, right? So over here I can create a fixed distance, maybe from here to here, but over here I can also use this create a traffic. Okay, and then I can add up the density of the vehicle along that direction, and I can change the minimum speed and maximum speed. If it is a two-way lane, maybe I will just say one lane only. Okay, the width of the lane maybe 3.5, that's going to be okay. So now I can be able to place my traffic from here. Maybe let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna use that um, arrow right there to basically create a traffic. Okay, maybe I will just stop right there, right? And then I will place or press the play button. Okay, I don't know why there's a rail MRT here, so let me just delete that. Okay, let me undo from the selection. Okay, let me just take a look at my selection so you can see, oh, because I have that one right there. So let me go right here and uncheck that as part of the selection. Okay, let me just go over here to trucks. All right, so anyway, I'm going to start again. So maybe from here, okay, so all the way through. Maybe let's go beyond that bridge, right? And then hit the play button here and take a look what it's going to happen. Okay, like so. All right, you can place some people. Let's say, for example, there are people right here, basically on the side of the road. I can use this right there. Okay, let me see here. All right, so there you go. Maybe let's go farther from the road. I can create a moving people, something like this lady right here. Okay, maybe I will change her direction. Okay, so there you go. And now, when you take a look right there, basically, it lets you create a realistic real world scenario of your project. Okay, so say for example you want to turn on the water level, so you can see that there's a water level right there because you have the bridge. So maybe we might as well have that water. Okay, so there you go. All right, so basically that is the um, um, Open Roads Designer, and this time we are using the Philippine data set. All right, so any questions from everyone? And otherwise, back to you, Sergio Mark. Okay, so Sir Aaron says, how about placing of the street lights? is the workflow the same? The question is this. You are correct. The workflow is the same. Placing the street lights. Okay, the same as placing of the of the signages or the street lights or the traffic lights. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right, sir, you are on mute if you are talking.
Yep. Okay, so once more, encouraging everyone to ask questions. Siguro, sir, laging tinatanong to, any online or educational material where they can go or head to, resources or trainings to learn more about Open Roads Designer.
Definitely po. We have Bentley Learn server. I
Yan.
think, let me see here because we have a new platform of Learn server. Um, okay, so let me see here. Let me drag this. Okay, so we have the Bentley Learn server po, learn.bentley.com. So this is the platform that's a go-to platform when you have when you want to learn the software. So it's not only one platform or one software of Bentley. It's basically, if you take a look right here on the brand, you can see that there's a lot to learn from. Okay, building, open cities, open flows, plant, roadside, rail. So you name it, we have it. Basically, we are the most complete solution company. We are basically, we don't call us ourselves a software company. We call ourselves as a solution company. Yeah. So let me just copy this URL and place it into our. Oops, I don't have. Maybe I will share it to Sir Joe Mark,
Yep.
so you can help me, sir, to place it in our comment or our comments box.
Ayan. So, there you go. It's learn.bentley.com/app/public. Ayan.
Okay. So we also have the Bentley communities po. If you have questions from community of users here in the Bentley communities, it can help you right away. Do we have a Bentley training center in the Philippines? Um, Sir Jumark, am I allowed to say or mention?
Yes. We're
Yeah, we have
representing BIM Philippines.
yeah. Okay, so we have
General to,
X
general.
structure. Okay, sir, thank you. I'm tiptoeing here. Very careful to
Yeah.
All right, so we have po infracies and X structures. Those
Yan.
are the big Bentley carrying company or channel partners in the Philippines. Hi, Sir Fernando. For utilities, it is same workflow. Yes po, Sir Alfredo. The workflows are 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 the same, but there is a little bit um, tools basically to get because the our utilities and our drainage and utility software involve analysis software. So we have a little more tools right there, but relatively it's all the same workflows. Okay. Yeah.
Yan. Thank you, Sir Alfredo Anore.
Right.
Yan. Happy to know we have someone from the Netherlands.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you,
Lowe's
and
P.
welcome.
Ayan.
Right. Any more questions, po? Keep coming, so we
Yan.
can.
Before, yeah. While waiting, again, we are also in LinkedIn. So it's BIM Worldwide naman po in LinkedIn. For those who are curious where we are. Where are we? Where's the community for BIM in LinkedIn? It's BIM Worldwide naman ang name niya there.
All right, so we have po a question from Ma'am Clarence. Does it have a solar streetlight object? At the moment po, wala po tayong solar streetlight, but you can easily create for yourself. Okay, so like for example, our vendors, the vendor for the streetlight, they have a ready-made a CAD files for you to use, and then from the data set that we have is customizable. It's not a hardwired setup, so it's customizable for you to create basically a project specific libraries. Okay, I hope that answers Ma'am Clarence.
Ayan. So once more to our viewers, diba? Si Sir Fernando is based in Singapore. So definitely he has a bird's eye view, yung status with regards to the status of the Philippines in comparison with our ASEAN neighbors. What's your take on that, Sir Fernando? Are we so far left behind? Are we advanced, or what's the status of
Ah,
Philippines?
the answer is yes and no, sir. So in terms
Ah,
of the skill set in the Philippines, our the Filipino talents are really really on the advanced stage. The BIM modelers in the Philippines, be it a building or civil modeling or any kind of BIM modeling, we are already in advance. But the thing is, on the BIM management point of view, we are basically far behind because even
mm,
in the constitutional level, we are still not there yet. Okay, we don't have the BIM standard. We there is no things that we you can be able to download from the government site for the BIM standard. We don't have that. We don't even have the BEP or the building guide BIM guides. Yeah, we don't have that yet.
ayan. What's the status naman with Bentley? Is Bentley helping out craft that law or that RA with the government? Are you coordinating with the government nowadays? O wala
So
pa
far,
rin?
sir, we don't. Yeah, we don't have, and I think the vendor should be not involved into that kind of crafting our. We can put on some inputs. We can give some inputs or a resource of information, but in terms of crafting those kind of constitutional documents, we don't have any uh, thing to do with that.
Mukhang matatagalan tayo diyan 'pag hindi napalitan yung mga oldies.
All right, so we have a question from Sir Aaron. Will preparation of construction drawing documentation be tackled in this session? Do we still have time, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Or um, so basically, I focused on modeling only. Let me see here. Can we customize parts in OpenRoads? The question is yes. All right, so let me go back on the. Okay, over here, let's say for example, I go and create a drawing. Basically, the drawing production in OpenRoads is very, very relatively fast. So let's say, for example, here, I'm going to go and maybe let's just use this plan here. Okay. And I'm going to um, use or create a drawing. So the boundary chords is 0 right there, overlap. Uh, I might change that too. So you can see that it's creating it's creating a rectangle object. So those rectangle object is basically representing of your drawing paper. Okay, let me just change the overlap right there. Okay, so over here, I'm going to just carry on with that, create the drawing, and then just say yes, create my drawing. Okay, so you can see that it didn't took 5 seconds for me to create the drawing, right? So I can already have this drawing created, right? So there you go. Okay, very fast. So let's say, for example, let me just go back to my drawing and open up my, let's open up my profile right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a vertical profile. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to use this frame profile with frame annotation. Okay, so I missed the creating of the super elevation, but basically we can create a super elevation very fast here. Okay, so let me just move on and create a. So you can see right there, I can basically create a profile drawing in a very fast pace. Okay, so let me just wait for a while. There you go. So now you have your vertical drawings. Okay, so there you go. So profile number 3, so something like that. All right. So I hope that answers the question, Sir Aaron. Okay, so let's say, for example, let me just go one more here. Okay, I'm gonna give you a maybe just a normal cross section here. Yep, there you go. Just a normal cross section of the interval of every 60. It's gonna create a cross section, but of course, you can still be able um, to create cross sections according to your liking. Okay, so I'm gonna start right from there. Okay, all the way through, create a cross section. All right, and then I'm going to say yes, create my cross section. I need it in 1 minute. All right, so there you go. You have your cross section drawings. Okay, right? Very fast and effective. So it will not basically last time when we create a drawing for this kind of model, it will maybe create took you maybe 2 weeks, 1 week or 2 weeks. But now it didn't even last for 5 minutes. I have already plan view, plan drawings, profile drawings, and cross section drawings. Okay, how the assembles says BIM Manila. How the assembles? Um, how about the assemblies of the road? All right, so the assemblies of the road is basically that is according to our templates. This one I already shown you earlier on. Okay, so this template here, usually we use these components right here. Okay, on the components right here, we have curves. Okay, those are the components. We have ditches. Okay, we have the pavements. All right, what we do is basically we combine them together to create. So we don't need to create one by one. Even though you can create one by one, a simple constraint, pavement, something like that, we can be able to basically create those kind of component. But basically, it for Philippine dataset, you have already all the things that you need. All right, all you need to do is to combine them together for you to be able to create your road model, something like this. Okay. or something like that, right? So it's very, very convenient, right? So any questions? So how about the match lines on annotation? It does not automatically show. I think it shows. Let me see here. The plan view, plan sheet one. Yeah, you can see that we have the match line right there created. Okay. So I hope that answers, Jamie. Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, sir, back to you.
Ayan. So, yeah, if there are no more questions, I guess we'd like to thank you very much, Sir Fernando, for this very informative afternoon. And I'm sure na hindi pa to ano no, hindi pa to tapos. Ito pa lang ay simula for more training sana in information about Bentley's solutions.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, yep, once more for those who have further questions, I'm going to paste in Sir Fernando's LinkedIn profile URL. So, feel free to contact him for more uh, intimate Bentley questions. Ayan. At again po, maraming maraming salamat, Sir Fernando.
Thank you po. And just for the information of everyone, we are working directly with CMDF or construction from
Manpower development.
yeah, manpower development and DPWH. Okay, that's why we have come up with this Philippine data set. Okay.
Ayan. Ayan. So, yep, looking forward na sana nga talaga, no, sir, maging batas na din yan. Sana maging
Yes, sir.
RA na
I'm
yan.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. Kasi like me and you, we are very, very PIM.
Oo. Ayun. So, yep. Once more, thank you so much, Sir Fernando. Wag po. Ayan.
Yeah, thank
So,
you
again,
everyone, and thank you for having me.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. See you soon po.